Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at Build Studio, New York City. For those of you watching live at home or work, no judgment here, please feel free to join in the fun and submit a question. It's easy. All you have to do is press the button right next to the video labeled Submit a Question. It's right over there. Or you can hit us up on Twitter at BuildSeriesNYC. My next guest has been here before, and we're super excited to have him back. He's the showrunner and star of the TBS comedy series The Detour, which starts its 3rd season tomorrow. He also holds the Daily Show record for most amount of field pieces produced, as well as most lawsuits. He's hilarious. He's the nicest guy in the world. Jason Jones is here, everybody. How about that, huh? It's pretty exciting. Yep. We're going to bring him out in just a second, but before we do, I believe we have a trailer for Season 3 of The Detour, so let's go ahead and run that clip.
Open up, now! Get some! You know, I was thinking, maybe it's time to stop running.
Hey, if you really want to stop running, the first thing you need to do is become someone that no one's looking for.
Oh, this is great. Dead kids, too. Obviously not for them. It's not great for them.
Next up, we find ourselves a nice, quiet town where everybody keeps to themselves.
Alaska. How great is this, right? No one is looking for us.
Everyone, come here. I want you to meet the Fleischers. He is a roller coaster designer. And what do you do? Hey, Skippers! Any dry sticks in the house?
Come on.
Our family's in a really good place.
There's my girl. Nothing stops us. We're the Parkers.
Put your hands in the air.
Whoa, whoa!
We're screwed. Not if I have anything to say about it.
Go, 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 go! This is our second chance at life.
Woo!
I think this might be quicksand. Throw me a stick. Here we go. Oh, that's it! Come on, come on, come on, come on! No! No!
Idiots.
Here we go. It's not the destination that matters. It's the detour.
Jesus,
Really coming down.
that's disgusting.
It's just a little bird poop.
What is going on?
I love you.
Oh my goodness, Jason Jones, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Jason Jones, make some noise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always end with a shit joke.
Always. That's how we end these interviews, actually, so
I got a great one planned.
that's why we load the green room with all the... All right, anyway, welcome. Yeah, that went south fast, sorry.
Always open with a shit joke that bombs, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it sets the stage. Jason, congratulations on Season 3, man. I'm very excited to talk to you about it and get into it, but before we go any further, just how are you doing, man? How's Jason doing?
How's Jason doing?
How's Jason
He's
doing,
fine.
man? Yeah,
he's fine, thank
good?
you. I've never got that question before.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine you do a million of these.
Yeah, I do, but they never, waste time with how you doing.
All right, so far for keeping score, I did a terrible shit joke.
Yes.
I've just
Wasted my
squandered time.
Yes. We're 2 for 2. Keep going.
I'm going to keep rocking this thing, man. We're going to keep going.
What's your favorite candy?
Yeah, well, now hang on, to be fair. There we are. That's what I was going to say. I thought you were a Starburst
Sorry,
guy.
I'm hijacking this. Go ahead.
It's fine. Go right ahead,
Go,
man.
go.
You have a background in this. You know?
I have. I've known to turn a conversation.
Yeah, it's not a problem. All right, fair enough. So you're doing really well. That's fantastic. Press is going well for the show. You're excited for Season 3. I got to say, I really, really enjoy this show for a myriad of reasons, but one of the things is that it feels like a real family surrounded by absolute insanity. I was reading somewhere that you and Sam created it based on experiences that you guys had on actual vacations, which leads me to the question of, what the hell happened to you guys?
If you believe everything you read in press releases,
I do.
then I wish I was inside your brain, because that's a good place to be.
It's insane up here.
I believe everything. No, we decided to create a series how real couples behave and how parents behave and real parents behave, and that means an open, honest relationship with your spouse and your children, and you tell them things that they ask the questions to, like, is Santa Claus real? You say, no, stupid. If you want to know, I'll tell you. But if you don't want to know, don't ask me the question. So that's the truth and honesty that we've put into the show.
Can I ask you, when you're approaching parenting from that direction, is there a moment at which you decide to be completely honest about a question like that? Or do you preserve innocence to a certain point before flicking the switch and saying, no, stupid?
I think you have to preserve it for a while. I don't think you want to rob any child of their innocence, but I think children are a lot smarter. And we always want to be the cool parents who told their children, you know, because they're going to learn it from their Jewish friends anyway. So, so why not get ahead of them? You know, when they go into kindergarten, you say, hey, psst, they're from us.
Which is
and also, why are we giving credit to this big fat make-believe guy? I bought the presents. These are good presents. I want credit for them. I don't want things like, thank you, Santa. I was like, no, I bought the presents. I went out to Toys R Us and braved the crowds and brought you this awesome present.
Do you
some make-believe guy?
Do you find on Christmas Eve after delivering that speech your child is more appreciative for the presents at that point?
No.
But you feel better, and it's your Christmas too.
Yes, it is my Christmas, and that gives me the thing I want, which is thanks.
I feel like part of that stems probably from you and certainly your journalistic side, just wanting to be first. You wanted to beat the Jewish kids from telling your kids that this is our story to break, damn it. This is.
I think you should rephrase that. I want to beat the Jewish kids.
It's the internet. We
Yes.
can say just about anything.
Can you?
But
I don't know.
I don't think.
You're right. Nothing matters anymore.
Yeah,
You're
nothing.
right.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. None of this matters.
None of this.
Yep.
I have to ask too. Is there, with the way things escalate on this show, which is part of the fun, is there like a Breaking Bad end game in mind, or are you just sort of one-upping yourself continuously as you write?
I had a 3-season arc planned when I went into this. This season ends with something we've been pushing toward, and you'll see what we do after 3 seasons is. I hate to go down on a sour note, but it's painful. There's a painful ending to this season that sets up our next season.
Got it.
Yeah.
You're really selling it, though.
I know. It's not funny at all. I wish I could make a joke, but it's really painful.
Let me ask you that, though. Was that, since you've had this arc plan from the beginning, and you're just telling us now that we've gotten emotionally invested and fallen in love with these characters, that we should prepare for something painful?
Yeah, I get shot in the head.
Yeah.
No.
Fair enough.
Yes. I told you it was painful.
No. Of course. I didn't know you meant literally painful.
Yeah. Because he doesn't kill me right away, so I struggle with the pain.
It's a long, drawn-out
yes,
It's a very...
Nothing matters.
Nothing! The approach to... Why a comedy, then, if you knew you wanted to end it with something serious and sad?
I'm not ending it.
Okay.
This is a...
you just said you got shot in the head.
This is a... no, that was a joke. I guess I have to say just kidding after everything now, because no one gets jokes. JK, it is a twist to take this series into a new direction.
Very cool.
But it's a painfully sad twist, and it's one that I think a lot of parents can empathize with.
Well, it's funny you bring up the relationship between the parents and the kids. One of the things I was telling you in the back is that I was watching the first episode of this season, and there's a great moment where your daughter just loses it and is just done with all the lying, and she's like, "That's it," and she blows up the whole spot. And there was something I loved about that moment, but also I was very profoundly aware of like, oh crap, these kids are growing up. Like these kids are getting older.
Yeah, I mean, listen. For those of you who haven't seen the series, the very first episode of the very first show, our 10-year-old daughter gets her period in a strip club. So that sets the tone for the show. Listen, it's got to happen somewhere. It's just unfortunate that it happens in a Pennsylvania roadside strip club that's open at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And they were surprisingly well equipped in terms of
The strippers were great to her.
They have like
They walked her
gift
through it.
package.
Yes, I know. I was like, let's paint strippers as really sweet girls who are helping out this little girl.
Bad rap enough as it is.
They did a better job than her mother at walking her through it. So that was that first foray into adulthood for that child. And then, they've been growing up. They moved to New York City the second season, and they grew up even faster. They got kidnapped and taken to Cuba, shown the good life, and then that was taken away from them. And then this season, they've been on the run for about a year, and they're living up in Alaska and still on the run from the Postal Inspection Service, because that's a real thing.
Yeah. Have you seen? I'm pretty sure there's a postal inspection service.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It is the greatest show ever.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yes. If you haven't seen it, we're not making this up. There's a postal inspection service television show funded by the Postal Inspection Service to show how cool they are. And it's like a CSI show on like Saturday mornings. You should check it out. It's awful.
Yeah,
but like awful like The Room is. If you've all seen The Room, it's like one of those shows with just you go, this is fucking terrible. How is this on CBS? And they're like, oh, it's funded by the USPS. Yeah,
they put it on.
Like they have the catchphrase like the mail's important, and we're like, no, it's not. It's not.
Now more than ever. It's never meant less than it does right now.
It's getting completely obsolete.
Yeah, but at least they're having fun.
Yes, they are.
They're going down with a bang.
Yeah.
Much like the Disaster Artist, I eagerly anticipate your version of the story of the making of this show.
That is my next project.
I think it's got to be it, right?
That's making of the CBS USPA show. Yeah.
You just get lost in the character of the lead investigator.
Yep.
Well, all right, cool. So we're talking about the children.
You just won me an Oscar. That's great.
And I don't need to be thanked for that. I want you to know.
Okay, yeah.
That's on your shoulders, and I respect that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you earned it. I want to talk more about these kids for a second, though, because I'm curious to what that does when you guys are writing stories. You have to be cognizant of them growing up, in addition to the fact that they are literally growing up before your eyes. 3 years at that age is a monumental amount of time compared to now. How does that impact the story that you're writing? How does that put things together? Does it change how you approach their responses and their characters?
I mean, we all. I'm acutely aware of who these children are as human beings, and she plays a girl on the show who's very smart, and she is very smart in real life, but she's very angry on the show. She's an anger streak, and she couldn't be further away from that. She is the sweetest, most gregarious, like hugger. She wants to hug everybody, which she's getting old now. She just really stopped hugging everybody. She's far too old to be hugging. But she's so sweet. She's a wonderful child. So we try to infuse a little of that into season 2, and then we were like, oh, it's not as funny. So let's have that joy, because she's moved to New York City and found her brethren here. She's like, I relate to everybody here, and then no one relates to her because she's so happy. That forces her back in on herself, and she gets angry again. So it was this nice little circle for her living in this city, and now she's angry again this season. But the one thing is, we do push them pretty far this season, and have in the first couple seasons. And this season, she has her first orgasm on a snowmobile. What? They all, like no one in this room's had an orgasm. Maybe not on a snowmobile, but I always ask their parents. I'm like, it's always an awkward conversation.
You have to have that conversation.
When we're writing, yeah. I don't want them to just like open the script and go, what? So I prepare them for it. I
give them a phone call.
I give them a phone call. I'm like, hey, we got this idea.
Do you ask how they're doing first, or do you not waste time with that? No, you don't.
I don't waste time. I get to it. I have this really awkward conversation with their parents, and then they go, I think that would be okay. But if that can be tastefully done, I think we did it tastefully.
If there's a way to tastefully,
it's more of the season. It's not about seeing that. It's more you actually don't even see it. You just hear about it. You don't hear it. That would be even worse. It's about she's gone back to work, and I'm struggling as a stay-at-home father, and it's more about how she needs someone to talk to, and I'm the only one there for her, and I'm trying to deal with that and process that.
To that end, with that particular bit, and just on the other side of the spectrum, that kind of bit is the sort of thing that makes the show feel real, that makes it grounded, that makes it relatable, that reminds you, oh, this is when that happened to me. I remember when I did that as a kid, so on and so forth. So you have that on one side, and then you've got the escalation of things, the blowing up of the statue, the kidnapping, going to Cuba. Is there?
Thank you for correcting that, by the way. I was about to jump on it.
When you're coming up with these things, is there a measure in the room of what is too crazy or almost painfully too real, and has that bar moved as the show's gone on?
No. There's never like, oh, we did this season, we need to do this. It's never that. It's always, it's always story first, really. It's like, what is the funniest story we can tell? And then once we've arced that out, then we're looking for set pieces, obviously, that inform that story or are a part of that story. And it's always, hey, I'm hired some of the funniest people I know to work with me, and if we're all laughing, we've all got tears pouring out of our eyes, and and sometimes it doesn't mean anything, but 3 days later, if I'm still laughing about it, I know that other people are going to laugh as well. I have to believe that, And again, it's going to be too far for some people, but that's why there's 550 television shows.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't watch this. Go watch something else. It's not funny.
And we cannot stress this enough. None of this matters.
It doesn't matter.
None of it matters.
It doesn't. Remember, like 3 weeks ago, we learned there's aliens on
Nobody
Earth?
cared.
No one gives a shit anymore. No one cares.
How is that not a major headline?
Why are we not still talking about aliens being here? An F-16 Navy pilot saw an alien spacecraft, and we're not talking about it.
Nobody even tried to shut him down.
No.
They just let it happen.
I know.
Like, yeah, let him talk about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
I feel like they sit back and they go, they
don't-
let it happen because they go, I wonder if this will matter.
I know.
Maybe this will be the one.
This is our test.
This is gonna be- that's
we're
the
going to
episode.
show America that there's aliens, and if they react, then we should maybe mind
Then
what
we've
we
got
say.
to take a cold, hard look in the mirror
Yes,
at that point.
but no one reacted, and
So we keep going.
Now we keep going because nothing matters.
Because
No.
at some point.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, all right, hang on.
Anyway.
Back to something that does matter.
Escapism. This is what this is. That's
Exactly.
what matters. You want to get away from it all. You want to get away from aliens?
And
Escapism.
I want to talk about you had the amazing James Cromwell was part of the last season, big part of the show,
Yes.
and it was really funny. We were watching with my wife, and it wasn't until he said, "That'll do, Robin. That'll do." She goes, "That's who that is." Like, it hit her in that moment that he was. Oh, that's the guy from Babe.
Yes.
I mean, he's obviously so much more than that. But anyway, my point about all
He'd be
this.
fine with that.
Would he? Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think he would. I think he's done quite a bit.
Yeah.
One, did you guys have to convince him to do the Babe bit and do the That'll Do thing, or was he on board for that?
Okay. So James Cromwell, great actor, done many things, but probably best known for his work in the Pig movie. And we have a line where Robin is screaming. James Cromwell plays her father, and she's screaming at him and telling him to stop. And he says, "That'll do, Robin." And then she says, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "That'll do." And then I have a pet nickname for her, which is Babe, and I say Babe right afterward. So that's the joke. But so he gets the script, and then we're on set, and we're running it through, and he gets to that line, and he looks up at me and he goes, "You want me to do it like the Thing?" I was like, "If you could, yeah." And he went, "Okay."
You got to play dumb at
that was
that
it.
point and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, right, I wasn't even
Right,
thinking
right,
of that. I was the Thing with the
The Thing that you spent your whole life trying to get away from.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Well, yeah, if you wanna.
Right.
I mean, we're all here. Are there any surprise or guest stars this season that you're super excited about? New characters that you're folded into the mix?
There's lots of new characters, actually. Lots of new characters. Not a lot from the past. Funny story. We were supposed to bring, this is insider information, but James Cromwell was supposed to come back. And 3 days before he was supposed to come back for the whole back half of the season, he was in a little accident. Yeah. He's fine now, but but I had to rewrite the entire back half of the series.
Holy crap.
To accommodate that unfortunate accident. But I think it turned out really great. And he's much like Marlon Brando in Godfather 2. If I can compare myself to Coppola,
Nothing matters.
he's still no. You're right. You're right.
Go
You're,
for
you know
it,
what? It
James.
fucking doesn't. Yeah.
Go
You know what? I'm the comedy Coppola.
Yeah. Comedy Coppola.
So he feels present. He feels present in it, even though he is not in it, because we reference him a lot. Because we shot the first half of the series referencing him.
Fair enough.
Yes. And my hope is that he's back for season 4.
Well, that would be mine as well. He's
Yeah.
a delight to
He's-
watch.
and
Can't imagine.
Just a pleasure to work with, and makes me a better actor by being in scenes with him.
He's one of those, huh?
Yeah. He brings you up to his level.
So awesome.
Yeah.
And he was game for the Babe bit. I mean, come on. Like,
I
That's
mean,
a big
he's-
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he just wants to work on fun stuff, and that's his MO now, and
Very
and getting arrested for politically activism. He's been arrested. Look it up. It's funny stories.
I had a bunch of other questions I wanted to get to, but we got to turn it over to the audience
Oh,
this time.
that's
We've got
it?
some
Okay.
microphones out in the room. First one's going to be from right over here. We'll start.
Hi.
Hi.
When you mentioned the show, The Inspectors,
Yes.
I watch that every Saturday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
See.
one of my favorite shows.
See. That's why nothing matters. It doesn't matter what I said. Let me ask you this. Why do you like the show?
I don't know. It's funny. It's cool.
It's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a drama.
What's his name? Noah. He adds funny.
That's the boy?
Yeah.
That's the son.
He's the other one. The friend.
The friend. Oh, you watch it too.
Sometimes.
You, see? 550 shows. Something for everybody. My apologies for shitting on it. Go ahead.
But my question was...
Have you ever been hurt in any of those incredibly insane stunts that you do?
Oh.
Stunt double.
Yeah, we do a lot of stunts on the show. This season, I drove a snowmobile into a river. I fell down the stairs. Got hit by a cab last season. I caught on fire this year. I went on fire, which in short is hot. Like it's
As one would expect.
It's really, really hot. And the first couple, I did it 3 times. The first take, no problem. Second take, they didn't actually put enough accelerant on, so it went out really quick. Oh, okay. But then, that's the fire. Yeah. But then they forgot to put the gel back on for the third one, so they lit me back on fire, and like my hands, my fingertips all got singed, and it was hot. It was really, really hot. And then I got whiplash this season too. I was on a jerk harness, and that hurts. That really hurts.
I'm going to pose a follow-up.
Yeah. Why?
Right. Well, no, that's the obvious.
Because it's funny.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
it. That's
Totally.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
If
But
it doesn't look like you're hurting yourself, it's not funny. There's nothing worse to me. It's egregious comedy to fall out of frame. Yeah. Because I know you're falling on a mat. I'm like, that's not funny. That's just not. I want to look. It's either make it really look like you hurt yourself, or hurt yourself.
Those are the only options.
That's it. Because I want to laugh at that.
As the star, as the writer, as the show, does TBS ever come to you and go, Jason, please don't do this?
Of course, yeah. They saw the dailies the next day, and then I get calls from the lawyer. They're like, "Why the fuck did you light yourself on fire? You can't. The whole thing shuts down if you're sent to the hospital." So, but
That was fun. Yeah.
no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Nothing matters.
Our next question's right here.
Hey, Jason. I know it's been years since you've been on The Daily Show, but
Yes.
What I still don't understand about the show is how do you convince these real politicians to come and do interviews on the show?
Because everyone wants to be on TV. That's it. That's really it. Everyone is just so narcissistic and wants to be on television. There's not a really better explanation. I think some people thought they could beat us. They could be smarter than us. Meanwhile, they didn't know what we were willing to sing to make them look stupid. Everyone wants to be famous, I think. Yeah, sad. But it doesn't matter.
As I had mentioned earlier in the introduction, you hold the record for most field pieces.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And as you've pointed out before, the past, most lawsuits.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Did they
Couple
tell
still
you
pending, I
that? Were
believe.
you more proud than the person delivering the news when that was communicated to you? By the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's all because you get calls from lawyers and you get nervous. Yeah, but then in retrospect, you go, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'm cool.
Although I got to say, you had 118 was the number of pieces.
Yes.
And then only 3 lawsuits. Those are pretty good numbers.
Those are great numbers.
Yeah,
If you just compare those numbers, that's
not bad at
think
all.
of all the times I wasn't sued.
Exactly.
Yeah, I went on the field 115 times,
Flawless.
not sued once. Yeah, but there's 3 other times.
I'm no lawyer, but that's how I'd open up the argument. That's all I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at the numbers.
Cold hard facts here. We have time for one more question. It's going to be right here.
All right.
Hi, so I'd like to make a series. So I was wondering, do you have any advice?
Sorry, you'd like to make a series?
A series, yeah.
Like a TV series?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm starting with a pilot, so.
There's 550. We need 551. I mean, who can't make a series now? I mean, that's the thing. What stage are you at in your career?
So we have the idea, and we wrote the outline for the pilot.
Right.
And so we're going to start writing the script now. We want to shoot the whole pilot.
Okay.
And then what would you suggest?
I'll suggest get ready for failure.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to be the guy who shits on everybody, and I don't want to be. Keep up your dream. You're gonna do it. It's the truth is, I was paid money 10 times to write pilots that never went anywhere. I was paid good money to write 10 pilots Not a single one of them were even made. This was my first one that I wrote and got made, and now I'm in season 3, which is like just such a rarity. So I would say, do that, continue on, but prepare for no one to see it and no one to give a shit about it. And don't let that deter you, and move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And don't get bogged down, because that's what this business is failure. It is 97% failure and 3% success. So just, if you want to do it, oh, and also don't have a plan B, because you'll take that. Yeah. So don't, so there's a positive in that, with all that negativity.
No, but I'm curious. You're able to give that information now, and like, you know, give out that wisdom. You've experienced it, you've been through that. But where do you think your resilience came from, and how you were able to keep putting yourself into these scripts, into these pilots, knowing that this may not even go anywhere, knowing that nothing matters? How do you become passionate about something? How do you allow yourself?
It's so hard. It is so hard. You know, and again, the further along you go in the process, the more devastating it is when you are ultimately rejected, because you invest more time and more energy, and you rewrite and rewrite. And you never think, you're like, oh, how can this script get more perfect? But the truth is, it can always get, like, as a writer, you need to never stop and always be writing and have 10 irons in the fire. And it's hard. It's, you know, when you're at your lowest, it's really, really tough to just not go do something else that pays money, because this doesn't pay until you're succeeding. And, you know, and then this could be canceled tomorrow, and then I'm fucking unemployed and trying to get a pilot made. So, you know, I mean, I'm back to another 10, you know? So that's I mean, 10 paid, 1 made is a pretty good, is actually a great success rate. Yeah. 10 paid, 1 made.
Almost as great as the 3 to 115. That's actually
not as good as that. That's nobody's banking on. If you look at the bar graph, like, that's an awesome bar graph that no judge would rule against.
Hell of a bar graph.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Always
again,
a
man.
pleasure.
You've been with us every season, and it's always a pleasure to have you here, and such a treat to have you. Congratulations on season 3.
Thank you.
Guys, it is tomorrow night on TBS, amongst the 500 some odd things to watch. This is the one I recommend the most.
Thank you.
It is a fantastic show. You're a fantastic person. Guys, make some noise for the Coppola of comedy, Mr. Jason Jones. Right here.